All right, so we use the basic opportunity record. And the reason I like the opportunity record is you can put dollar amounts in this field and you don't need items. They can come in here, have a preliminary call, talk about a total and put that in there. And then once they start putting in items, it actually will sum these amounts up and put them there. And then once you actually start having items, it just uses that list automatically. So, all right, so here I'll go into one of these configurators.
It's a custom record, right? Yeah.
So it's a custom record. And what we do is we point to a parent item. So this is a field to the list record item. And then we put a filter on it to say, only show me things that have a parent configuration. So if I go to, DS0105, and so just looking at the screen really quickly, essentially each one of these sections is a finishing option that has an option. Plus, then you can, put in your colors.
Where to get that 17 cents and all that other stuff? Is that part of the that pricing?
Part of this record, yeah. So let's see, if I go to my configuration parent, right, I've defined this as a configuration parent. That's what sets that filter, right? So I'm actually in here defining what my apertures are, what my capacity is, and those are just multi-selects. It might be better actually to be in edit mode here.
That's pretty cool. Oh, and this finish thing right here, is that a custom record too?
Yeah, these are all custom child records to the item, and it gets defined for the parent, right? So this particular DS, what is this one in 105, is available in this capacity with these apertures, and these are the different mouthpieces that go with it. And then each one of these are the drop downs for the finish list, and they have min, max, and costs associated with them.
Wow.
So when they pull these forward,
you know what to key on.
Yeah, so let me pull up one of these has.
Yeah, you're giving it all the options.
Yeah, so here you can see,
wow,
just a little, client script to do that, and then this puts it back in. So interestingly, there's a few things going on here. There are like program definitions where there's a workflow that just does a lot of work automatically, and then each of the products will have other special rules. Like, for example, if I switch, like, let's see, light end, like you'll notice these sections will show and hide. So let's see, right? So now you can see some of those went away, right? So those behaviors are based on this, right? So when I save this record, I look at each one of these fields and say, okay, and there are a bunch of hidden checkboxes here, hide this, hide this, hide this. And so then the workflow can just easily say, okay, I've selected this, therefore I need to loop through and hide these sections. But then there are other rules that are more product specific, like this one here that says, okay, I'm going to have this bundle. And once I go to this bundle, select this option here and select this option here, and then make it read only. And that's very hard. It's in a workflow, so that a business analyst can do it, but it's very specific to this product. So there are different rules. So there are some general ones, generic rules that fire in to help it along, and then we can also add very product specific ones. I mean, if we wanted to, we could come in here and show and hide colors and things like that. I don't know if it makes sense to do that. It's a lot of busy work.
You were trying to balance the amount of automation as well as, because ultimately they got to build it, right? And then they commit it, and then what happens?
Well, so then what happens here is I'm coming in here and I'm building this item, and it's calculating my cost for me. So then I commit that, and it saves back to the opportunity, obviously, and then it updates this total as well.
And do you touch anything on the items the traditional NetSuite items have?
Not yet. So I get a quote, and this is what I'm just trying to do at the sales to get to a sales order.
So this is why you used our tools to draw it. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, that's all good. And so we're gonna have a little email button up here too.
Totally cool. What it shows is you don't have to buy a whole big configuration engine. Like this is a subset of their product line that they need this kind of capacity, right? And then they can run with it. The amount of time it took to build this, it would take a long time to build the whole configuration engine.
Configurator. That's right.
Configurator tool and learn and all the setup and everything, right? Where it's just got it done, right? And you can just really adapt it.
Because I'd almost argue that NetSuite's tools make it so that you have it. I mean, you have a configurator, just set it up. I mean, there's so little programming here. It's pretty amazing. So there's very little scripting here is, I guess, the thing. I mean, there's a little bit, but there's very little.
All the basic sourcing and all the point and click customization. Then you went to workflow for the extra little help, and then you just said, okay, I'm going to go to script for a couple things that just because it was just a little more complex. But at the end of the day, you were really leveraging everything you could.
That's right. There's just very little programming there.
So that's great. And then ultimately, though, if it becomes a quote and then they commit, do you leverage the configuration record to push it into the sales order in some way?
I'd like to, but we don't have a requirement yet to do this. Right now, it sounds like what they want to do is this. Once this becomes a sale, they're going to go to a project record and they're going to actually spin up work, and it's going to be a manual process to actually get, the order to China and do all the work that's necessary. So this is a sales tool, and it's intended to get them an accurate price to quote.
Oh, okay. But the point is you built a sales tool.
Yeah, the sales tool. And I think even if we don't go to the whole sales order and drop in the items because they want to go to a project, I could still see us maybe having helper buttons to create the items and maybe set up the project. I mean, why not? We've got enough information.